right, Disability Awareness Day, 15th of March 2024. It's going to be celebrated within the Kenyatta University, and we're bringing you that conversation here on the show. And I'm joined by Dr. Florence Gitau, who's the Director of Sports and Games at Kenyatta University. We're looking at inclusivity within the realm of sports, but also joining me in matters of employment, inclusive employment, and has been an advocate of disability awareness for years now. Is going to be Mr. Kennedy Okongo, the director of Riziki Source. So this conversation is coming to you right now, and prepare any questions that you have on social media at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_Okenye. 15th of March is when that conversation is going to be held within Kenyatta University. So if you're within the fraternity, within this institution, give up for that and ask any questions in how you can participate and also be involved in this conversation. So we're celebrating Disability Awareness Day for that day today here on this show, so you can join us as well in starting that celebration already. And let me introduce the leading figures for this conversation and allow them to do justice to their own introduction before, of course, we get into in-depth of this conversation. I'll begin with my very near left, Dr. Gitau. Please do let our audience know about you, and also maybe a little bit about your department within Kenyatta University.
Thank you very much for that. My name is Dr. Florence Gitau. I am the Director of Sports and Games at Kenyatta University. I'm also a lecturer in the Department of Recreation and Sports Management. And at the department, we offer units to do with the disability sports. And at the Directorate of Sports and Games, we serve all the students, the community, the Kenyatta University community in matters sport. And we are an inclusive department. We take care of the needs of everybody in Kenyatta University community, including those living with disability. And we have several programs for them. We have what we call the intramurals, where the students participate within the universities and they compete amongst themselves. And mostly we offer sports for recreation. We offer sports for leisure and recreation. We offer it for health and fitness. And we have the elite performers who compete outside Kenyatta University, within the university's conference, and without. Outside, we take part in East Africa University Games, the Africa University Games, and we also take part in international, which we call FISU, Federation of International Sports Universities. And at all this level, we are expected to have sports for everybody, competitive sports. Our students take part in the university's championship. We've just come back from celebrating the Women International Day, and we had sports which were held in Egerton University over the weekend. And we took with us our goalball team, and they competed against Maseno University, and they performed quite well. Oh, wow.
Congratulations to them. And we've been actually following up on matters of sports on this show, even with FISU, as you said, the university football team, the Hockey's Titans, and Vultures as well. So it's good to hear that inclusivity is still happening within the spaces that we've been highlighting. So I think congratulatory message to you and your department within Kenyatta University. Mr. Kennedy Okongo, Riziki Source, Action Network for the Disabled, UNDP Disability Awards. I mean, there's a lot to speak about you, so please, you can also do justice to that introduction.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First of all, it is Riziki Source.
Yeah.
Not Riziki Source.
Or Riziki Source.
People make the same mistake as they make with my
Okongo
name. But thank you for extending the invitation to me here.
Yeah.
Riziki Source is a social enterprise working to promote the employment of persons with disabilities. My name is Kennedy Okongo. work for the organization as the director of programs, not the director, as it indicated in the poster, director of programs. Riziki Source came into being after clearly assessing the situation of the disabled persons in relation to employment. There was a challenge and there was a gap there. Riziki Source is being run by people with lived experience in the world of job search. And the challenges they went through informed the birth of that organization to kind of provide a platform to mitigate some of those adverse effects that persons with disability face in line of job search. We have been in existence for around 8 years now. And part of what we do is working with employers to inform them on how best they should purpose to be inclusive, providing them with tips on how to become inclusive, working with persons with disability themselves to promote them to be self-confident, self-assertive, believe in themselves, work hard, move away from tokenism, to be actually champions of claiming for rights. Those are some of the things that we try to do, and in partnership with different stakeholders. We partner with institutions, we partner with employers, we partner with unions, we partner with donors who fund the activities, and through that we have been able to develop an app called the Riziki Source app that helps persons with disability to register in a database. That database currently has a total of around 1,500 plus persons with disability in search of job opportunities. This was trying to address the problem of lack of visibility on the part of qualified candidates with disability. Employers were telling us outside there, where are these people? We don't get them. So we decided to come up with that platform for them to register, so that we do now bidding on their behalf. We tell the employer, now we have a pool here with these qualifications. If you need any of them, reach out. We supply with the CVs, do your interviews, provide the opportunity based on your own assessment after carrying out the interviews. Yes, in summary, that is a brief about Riziki Source.
Okay. Job seekers are a very key group of people that you're looking at in Riziki Source.
Yes.
That's great. So before we get even more into Riziki Source, of course, and the conversation on Disability Awareness Day, I want us to begin with terminologies, which is also a good way in trying to create awareness and inclusivity.
Yes.
When it comes to, I remember back, the phrase then was, disability is not inability. And I think we did that enough. I'm not sure if it's enough times, you can correct me if it reached the impact that was necessary. But within the spaces that I operate in, at least now it is quite clear that disability and inability are completely two different worlds. And now we have people living with disabilities, with disability. But also we have people who are, we have a phrase which is people who are abled differently. And that's what we are trying to bring forth to the general public in the conversations they're having. Why is it relevant that we also have a look at the language in itself? What is the kind of impact this has? If we can begin with you, and then I get Dr. Gitau to chime in.
Yeah, I think terminologies play a key role in determining how to relate with persons. People are created with different temperaments. People are not the same. There's somebody who will accept this, somebody will not accept the other. The term you have used, person living with disability, it is used a lot, but it turns out to offend other people. To live with, it means that it's part of you. it is now not appearing as a condition that came to distort your usual self. You see? Yeah, so it is used a lot to an extent that now people think it is the best way, but we would prefer a term like person with. With. You are a person first with
disability,
that other condition.
Okay.
You're getting that? But person living with is part of you, kwa nyumba, wapi, you see, you know, something like that. Yeah, so, and there is somebody who will pick some fault with that. Yeah, but people, most of the times, mean well when they're having this kind of conversations. Even you, as you have just used the term, you mean very well, I know it.
well.
Yeah, but you'll find somebody that, hey, I know mkono za hizo. Hapana, nini, something. And then, of course, the other J, person with disability, wako na tempers, doing nini. That is also
feeding into that.
That's another era as well. Yeah, people, we come across that a lot. People say, no, simply because people expect you to behave in a certain way.
Yeah.
That when now you behave in a different manner, they look at your condition first.
Yeah,
with your condition, why are you also behaving this way?
It's like causation. It's
yes,
like that's what.
It means why. Now the disability has taken over you. That now you have lost your life.
Yeah.
You have a life.
But
plus,
somehow.
Yes. But you see, you are a person first, and then other things. There is nothing that disability does to you that changes what God created in you. You see?
Yeah.
Of course, there are those differences of how you have been handled from birth, things like that. It even happens to other cases. You have a girl who was maybe sexually abused while young. She tends to grow up in a certain way, having dislike for certain things. You see? Yeah, such conditions. There are also people with disabilities who went through a lot in life that came to torment their minds, things like that. So somebody may acquire a certain trait, not because of disability, but because of the environmental factors that he or she was subjected to.
Okay.
The general society will say, anafanya hivi sababu ya ulemavu. That is an error. Yeah, we need to get it.
Okay.
You find a nice person with disability, you also find another wayward one. The same way you'll find a nice person and another wayward person. Yeah, that one needs to come to light.
Right.
Yeah.
Daktari, in trying to combat these assumptions and, creating awareness, what role do you think the terminologies, from your own point of view, what role do they play?
Yeah, terminologies can really have an effect on persons. Because if people keep telling you you are this, you tend to behave the way they talk about you. But what we have learned with the experiences we have had with the students who are living, but my colleague here says we should not say people living with disability. People with disability is that they are all talented just like anybody else. It is true they are first human, and then they have talents. And these talents, it's just like the talents that are given in the general population. So you find somebody who is very good in an activity like chess. We have very, very good chess players from among this population. And until we give them an opportunity, they come and compete amongst themselves and even amongst the other general population. Then they may tend to still feel like they're inferior to them. But once they compete and they shine, then that promotes their self-confidence, self-esteem. And it will make them go out and try other things. It is true what my colleague here is saying about experiences, what somebody went through during childhood will have an effect on the personality of people as they grow. And so even among these people, this is a special population as in our, I don't know whether it is right to call them that, but when we discuss in a class, in the classroom setting when we are teaching, we talk about sports for different groups. And this is a special population. We have sports for the aged, for the senior citizens, something like that.
Yeah.
And we want to give equal opportunities to everybody. And then we tap on whatever each person has. So what we are saying is that they are gifted differently.
Yeah.
But this stigma, there are these stereotypes that bring about stigma. And this is one thing we are trying to get rid of in sports.
Yeah.
Because when we compete at par, like in chess, as I'm saying, chess and Scrabble, especially that one can be, it's done very well by students who are living with hearing impairment. But when they play Scrabble, they play it and they play it very well. And we are saying that also brings out who they are, the talents that they have. So the talents are given equally to everybody in the population. The fact that one has a disability does not mean that they cannot be able to excel in a certain sport.
Yeah.
They do excel and they do very well.
Right.
Yeah, so we only need to give them opportunity, support them, and then they come out their best.
Definitely.
We have seen that work.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that stigma is reduced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
in sport.
while we are still on opportunities, I think I'll still pick that up with you.
Yes.
There are, of course, very many challenges when it comes to athletes accessing sports opportunities, given how mainstream most of the sports are, and very little access given with athletes with disabilities. But now within Kenyatta University, because you're trying to shine a light on what you're doing within Kenyatta University, as we see if this can be adopted across, what are some of the successful maybe adaptive sports programs or initiatives within Kenyatta University that have taken care of athletes with disabilities?
Well, we have quite a number of them.
Yeah.
We have sitting volleyball. Sitting volleyball, we give them a space where we put a mat and they sit down and they play sitting volleyball. And they do very well in that. That when they go and compete among their peers in other universities, we are always at the top. Then we have the goal ball. The goal ball is the one I'm talking about for the visually impaired. And they play it, and we have also been performing very well. Apparently, we also have track and field events. And now, I have two of my former students who came back on Saturday from Tunisia to participate in track and field. We have Sheila Wanyonyi, who graduated in December, and Evelyn Kulundu. They graduated in December. They have been one of our stars. And so they went to Tunisia to compete in, Sheila was doing javelin, and Evelyn was doing discus. And they performed very well, that now they are moving to the next stage for the Olympic qualifiers in May. And that's the story of success, because of the opportunities that we have given them here while they're in the university.
Nice.
And we still have several who have participated in those international national events and have qualified for international events. Unfortunately, within the federation, things are not very rosy. So sometimes they qualify, but when the selection is being done, I don't know what happens, they are left out. But these particular ones have been able to fight their way up until now. They were able to go up to that international level.
Yeah.
And as I was talking to them, I was challenging them that it is time they now moved and penetrated into the federation and seek leadership in the national federation, so that because of the experiences they have had, they can be able now to help their others who they have left behind.
Yeah.
Fight so that when somebody qualifies, then they are taken. Their positions are not taken by others who may not have qualified or performed as well as this one did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we have a lot of opportunities here in KU. We organize a sports day annually. We organize a sports day for the persons with disability. And it's a very beautiful event if you attend it.
Yeah.
They really enjoy themselves. Yeah, and then they are able to share among themselves the challenges that they have and discuss how they can progress. And they are forever in the office fighting for more and more inclusion.
Okay. Right.
And we have tried as much as possible to have them included. And when we draw the sports fixtures in the university, we also have sports fixtures for
Specifically
the students,
designed.
specifically defined for the students with disability.
Okay.
And that has worked well so far.
Very commendable work there from Kenyatta University. Kennedy.
Yes.
You've been a champion and advocacy for, let's speak about the job placement strategy that is implemented through Action Network for the Disabled. If you can borrow that and maybe elaborate on the strategy itself for other organizations now during the job placement time. What I'm getting from Dr. Gitau, that we need to have a conscious decision making. If you're making a fixture for sports, we have to consciously remember that we need to do this as well. And that might not be the case for maybe human resource professionals who are hiring or who are within organizations and taking care of job placement. What, through Action Network for the Disabled, the strategies that maybe someone who's out there can look at to ensure that also, before you reach them for advocacy, they are also consciously thinking about this in the recruitment process and the job placement.
I think you meant Riziki Source, eh?
Yeah.
Action Network for the Resource, another organization.
Yes.
I know about it.
Yeah.
First of all, when you are handling disability issues of whatever nature, you must be deliberate and you must purpose to do something around them. If you tag them along others, you'll not be able to make headway. That's why I agree with her. When they are planning for sports, they are also planning for this other category. If you plan wholesomely for sports, they will not thrive. You must purpose to have something for them. If you are handling matters employment, you must also be deliberate. But for this particular vacancy, I'm targeting qualified persons with disability. You see? If you end up mixing again, you'll be missing the point. Why? The playing level is not, the playing field is not leveled. We must start from that point. The average lifespan of a person with disability in school, there is a delay of around 4 years due to several factors. Huyu atakuwa amemaliza, yule ambaye bado ako 4 years nyuma, na wako of the same age. Economically, from the families, we compete for resources. The parents don't have enough. The other siblings, who is likely to prioritize in terms of fee payment? Yule mwingine akisema, huyu, I'm gambling, eh? I'm not very sure it will end up. Let me start with this, then I'll come back to this. Those are the things that factors attributed to the delays that I've just mentioned. So by the time this guy clears, the other guy has already done 3 years of service somewhere. You see? And these are real things. They are backed by figures, backed by numbers, data supporting them. They are not just narrations. So when, for example, you get a person with disability with the same grade as this other guy, the circumstances I went through to obtain the B and the circumstances the other person went through to obtain the B, very, very different. So you cannot just subject these people to the usual interview. That's why at the back of your mind, you must have something, affirmative mind, you see? And now subject this person to the test. Of course, you also need the best. Somebody will add value to your organization. You can't just pick people. But there's a way in which you can test that. Ukimweka pamoja na wale wa alliance na nani ati sasa wewe unatafuta the best, bado utamwacha pale nyuma. So you must be affirmative to answer your question. There is also the problem of employers having the understanding. We are in the week to do awareness. The climax will be on 15th. That is what we are doing now. Any employer is watching. If you are interested in promoting the employment of persons with disability, you purpose to do it. You don't just mention it as a by the way. You don't just quote your policies that we are an equal opportunity employer. Everybody will say that. Even in government agencies, everybody, and persons with disability, I highly encourage to apply. You will see those taglines along.
Just to tick a few boxes.
Then there is somebody who was employed wakati kulikuwa na zile performance contracting. Somebody was employed maybe 5 years ago. They keep on telling you, yes, we have so and so. They employ every year. But they will only cite the one who was employed 5 years ago.
Wow.
So no hata huyu tumemwajiri yako hapa. It is work in progress, but they keep on recruiting year in, year out. But they will only stick to one case.
One diversity hire.
Yes. You see, these are the things that we need to think about. We came up with the database to solve the problem of mobilization. The employers who say, Sisi, we are doing our best to reach out to these people.
But
hawapatikani. And then we ask them, what is that best you are doing? How do you advertise your positions? See, kwa gazeti, the visually impaired, how do they access that? You see, even the deaf. Some of them, you know, sign language is not English. It is sign language. And if you translate it to English, it sometimes it doesn't make sense because it is broken English. If you decide you are very articulate in what you have advertised outside there's a deaf will not understand that because it is in a language that is different from the signing. So these are the things these people don't know, and we try to bring them to light. That's why it is very, very important for the University of Kenyatta University to have a day dedicated to spreading awareness around disability issues. I think this is one of a kind. That's why I feel very honored to come and contribute my insights towards this course. Because at the end of the day, new information will reach out to people, and people will now start taking steps to ensure that they address matters of concern regarding employment. If another point is that an example is given, Safaricom is doing very well in employing persons with disabilities. Yes, they are doing better than the others, but look at the positions
that they are being given.
They are being given there. Look at the position. Most of them are in the call centers. Sasa tumebaki kutumia ile methali, eri nusu shari kuliko shari kamili. But that should not be the case. Tunataka shari.
Tunataka shari yote.
Tunataka shari. You see? Even these people who start from the call center, these people can be helped to grow, move up the ladder. You see? These are the things we need to do. I know even those who work there, wengine wamesoma vizuri, najua kuna huyu ana MC events nini. That guy I know, he even went to Alliance.
He did.
Ile kitambo.
He did.
Na si bado ako tu kwa customer service department hapo, unaona vitu kama hizo. Yes, of course sasa ni mkubwa wa wale. But you see, kuna ukiangalia tu, it's like Safaricom also has stereotyped things in a certain way.
You have a line.
You just belong here. You see? These are the things we need to talk about.
That's correct.
And
organizational structure.
Yes, organizational structure. Those are the things now bringing out concerns that we need to have a conversation about during a week like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daktari, breaking those walls, educational barriers which are there within the institution, in what areas can we look at to ensure, even across the fraternity, people living or people with disabilities are also thriving, whether it's through infrastructure or whatever activities that are happening within Kenyatta University and our institutions of learning at large?
I think one of the ways that we can break these barriers is by having these people living with disability working together with the others. For example, when we have sports, our move is we want to move away from just giving a sports day for the people living with the disability alone. They have been claiming that they want to be included when we have national games. We have national games and include them among the national games. Our thinking was that it would be better to have them have their own sports day alone. But they are saying, no, we want to be among the others.
Right.
Because that way we reach more people. And in that way they are able to build social capitals.
Okay.
Barriers like what he's saying about a job being advertised and they don't get the information. If they have known other people from other universities, people who are in the same, taking the same courses with them, and not just people who are playing the same game.
Okay.
So that way they are able to create more networks. So when opportunities come, they are able to be informed without having to read newspapers. Yeah, I believe that is a better way of having them together with the others and then breaking the barrier of exclusivity. We have more activities for them, and even at higher levels. Like so far, it is only women who have, we have managed to take up to East African level for sports. But we want to bring even the men aboard so that we are fighting with the Kenya University Sports Federation to also have the men included. Apparently, I happen to be in the women wing of the Kenya University Sports Federation. And as we talk about promoting gender equality in sports, we have also talked about equity, inclusion, and that's why we never leave behind the women with disability. We have come up with them. And last year they took part in East African University Games. And through that, they're able to create networks now, even within the East African region. What we are saying can help create, break those barriers and build social capital so that when there are jobs, they also get to know that there are jobs elsewhere. So we are also bringing the men on board now so that they can also be included in the national university sports. So together they build more networks and they share experiences. What I liked about that inclusion, when we were in Joro over the weekend, after the game, we had a game between Maseno University and Kenyatta University. Those girls just sat together and they started discussing. So I was finding out what they were discussing about. And then they were saying, yeah, we discuss what is done, how they are supported in Maseno, and we say how we are supported, what infrastructure they have, how we can share, how we can talk to the people in charge of sports so that they can help us expand, so that we have more teams coming in. And last semester, we had games at Maseno University. But that one we brought all the men and women together and they shared. We had about 7 universities. Maseno University, USIU, KU, Meru. We had Jomo Kenyatta, and there was the 6th one, I think it's Kabarak. So from that, you see again we are bringing more space, more networks, creating more networks. And that, I believe, would help break that barrier. And then as they interact, they are also developing communication communication skills, and then self-confidence, and that prepares them even for the job market. So that when it comes to attending interviews, they are more confident, they can talk well about what they are doing. Removing that stigma, and making them feel that, they're as good as everybody else.
Right.
And when they compete with the others.
That's, I like the cross-institutional collaboration that comes out of that kind of environment in trying to break the social barriers as well. We're sort of doing a research and learning from each other, and because the theme here is also about, you know, higher education access and to economic opportunities as well. I think that also takes care of the question which I was going to ask post school. What happens? In what ways are we fostering inclusivity? You know, that kind of social collaboration and environment where they're creating networks, I'm sure is very helpful even post university time. We are here for the week, and then it's culminating on Friday. Mr. Kennedy, for someone who's been championing this for so many years now, and, you know, with experience, yourself experience with disability, I'm sure it's a very phenomenal day for you. So I think I want us to take time to have a look at how important this day is. What is the significance to the efforts that you've been up to? What are the milestones you see so far? Do you feel like we are, you know, headed in the right direction? And what more do we have to do?
Where we are today is not where we were in the 90s or even 80s. We have made strides to an extent that now a premier institution like KU can say a particular day is the Disability Awareness Day. That's something special, because you could not talk about this even before 2000. Things started getting vibrant in 2003 after the promulgation of the Person with Disability Act, which became possible when now the former President Kibaki got elected, served, was sworn in on a wheelchair, saw through the challenges, akasema hii sheria wacha niweke kidole. Now things started getting vibrant from that time. Kenyatta University started this journey way back. I remember I was in a school, and wakati huo C+ haikuwa inaingia university. There was a time C+ was not coming in here. Kenyatta University had a program to bring C+ from Joy Town, hapa kusomea walimu. Even those days, I remember that. And so many came to benefit. I know one who currently works with the National Oil Corporation who came through this institution. You see? So that's why I have a liking for this institution, by the way. Hiyo ni ukweli tu wa mambo. Because, because of, there are things, Okay, nothing is 100%.
But mgala mpe haki.
Yes. Muwe na mpe. Mgala muwe, lakini haki yake umpatie. Actually, you have no much when it comes to trying to work on disability issues in the country at the moment. You have no much. That one I can say with confidence. What is happening at this particular time is reaffirming the position that persons with disability are in existence. They are part of this society. Hakuna mahali watapelekwa, wataendelea kukaa hapa, na lazima muwe na mikakati ya kuishi na hao sako kwa bako. You will not take them anywhere. They continue to be here. They'll need to go to school. They need to access medical facilities. They'll need to take part in sporting activities. They'll need to do every other thing that any other person does. And that's why we are here to provide insights on how you can learn to live side by side with them. Looking at the infrastructure here, hapa ndio nilikuja kama napanda stairs. Lakini sasa
kweli
but
isemwe
yeah, but I also know that you have tried to do some good things. You cannot have the whole thing in one day conforming to the standard, but we always look at the steps being taken to realize something. Yeah. Utaweza pata A, utaweza pata B+, utaweza pata
room for improvement.
Hata hii iko huko nyuma. Na hata hii saizi wanaenda effects. You see? Something like that. So
level effort.
Yes. So it is an opportunity where we need even to talk to the entire fraternity here on steps they are supposed to take to address certain issues. We'll also talk to students. I believe on 15th, students will be mobilized and an opportunity will be provided to tell them about their rights. Particularly talk about, I've also been invited to come back on 15th for something there. There are other employers outside here who are also passionate about helping them. Quarterly, after every 3 months, David and Shatley, for example, they take person with disability for an internship period, 3 months, paid internship, daily 1,500. I know some of them are not aware. That information I can give them. Even last quarter I gave them people. Even the other quarter I've been giving them people each and every quarter. Because once they clear with this one, they need another one. Once they clear with this, they need another one. So that is information that can benefit these people, to show them that there are those who are willing to do something around their cases. When we're talking about awareness, yes, we try to make them aware with some of those facts. We also applaud developments that have come to the fore, the ones I've talked about. Okay, you trying to mainstream things, we bring them to light. Unajua usiposema kitu, watu watafikiria you are not doing anything.
Ni vizuri useme.
Yes, you can also be umepigwa mpaka uwe demoralized. So after all these efforts, bana naongea hivi. Something like that. So it is also an opportunity for the university itself to take pride on strides they have made and talk about them. Saying this department is doing this department is doing this. It's an opportunity to offer linkages to these people. The one I've talked about, the David and Shatley. I'll take candidates here. It's an opportunity to also enlist them in our database. As soon as they finish, they graduate, to now, then we try to link them with employers. Yes, those are some of the things that we need to focus on during this week.
Okay. Daktari, because we are now already speaking about the week and Friday, what activities are there within Kenyatta University for this week and on the day? You know, what people can look forward to who want to attend. As I said, that's a chance for Kenyatta University to also speak about the efforts. And I know there's a discourse as according to what I'm looking at here, but maybe you can highlight the major conversations, activities which are planned around this 14th Disability Awareness Day that is going down on the 15th of March here at Kenyatta University.
Yes, we have activities we have a Disability Sports Day, but it will not happen on 15th because we need a whole day. So ours will take part, we will have that a week after, so that we have a whole day to ourselves. Yeah, so we shall participate, we shall come and listen to the presentations. There are those opportunities that we are not aware of, and the students may not be aware of, as he's saying. So they will come and they will listen. But for sports, we shall take the next weekend, we shall have on Saturday, we'll have a Disability Sports Day.
Okay.
Yeah, which is, we are organizing, the Directorate plus KUSA is supporting us this time, so that we bring everybody, all the students, with the special, sometimes we say with the special needs, because theirs are different from what we normally give to the general population.
Yeah.
So we will have sports like the chess, we'll have Scrabble, we will have sitting volleyball, we'll have goalball, and we'll have track and field events. So that takes us a whole day.
Yeah.
So we cannot be able to bring it on 15th,
But it will be.
but we will have one full day for those activities. They also swim, and there is also cycling. 2 years ago, we were lucky to have had a sponsor who brought some bicycles and tricycles for the students with disabilities. And we enjoyed cycling that whole day, but they went away with their bikes. They went away with the bikes, but we were allowed to go and hire, not really hire. We could take them and come and have use them over a weekend, and we did that thereafter. But at the moment now, I was told the bikes have broken down because there were few, and the demand for the use of those bicycles was very high. They were not just for the universities, they were for the general community of people living with disabilities. And they are quite expensive. Our institution is not yet able to purchase for our own students. But we believe we can, in future, we can get a partner who can help us get those bicycles so that we increase activities that our students will engage in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That tackles the question which I was going to ask on community outreach. In what ways we can do that? I think that's one of those ways, partnering with Riziki Source and other people in the community who are looking at advocacy matters, or even providing that sort of assistive technology. And it could be fun. It could also be for other activities like accessing areas of opportunities and even education. Professor, now with your expertise in sports, Daktari, Daktari, with your expertise in sports, how can we inspire more people with disabilities to also be involved in sports? I think as we try and ensure that the rest of society is also coming along, there are those who might be people with disabilities, but they're because of the kind of stigma they're facing. As you said, it's a good thing even during sports when they are having conversations with other people, they're building that confidence, public speaking, and all those other soft skills as well. How can we inspire more of them to also participate in sport? What can we tell them is a good thing about them also taking part actively in sports?
We have, with that, we have planned to have a sports day, not now internal, where we invite people from outside the community, so that they can also come and take part. We have sports, and mainly the sports for disability are not competitive as such, because even when we award, we give awards, everybody is a winner. We never emphasize on who got the gold or what. We say that whoever participates is already a winner.
Nice.
And so when we bring these other people, we plan to have a day when we invite even children from Joy School, I think a school for the blind, so that together they come and we have those sports, mainly for leisure and recreation, and for interaction, the social interaction, what we are saying. So that from that, one, we will inspire those ones who are not in the university to know that if they work hard, they can also come to the university. And when they come to the university, there are opportunities for taking part in sports. And when they take part in sports, there are also opportunities like the ones these girls have had, Sheila and Evelyn. They can go beyond, outside Kenya, because of sports. Because sports is one area where we have opportunities for traveling, a lot of traveling. And if you're good in a sport, then you have more opportunities for going out. And as you go out, as I had said before, you have more opportunities for creating strong networks out there. And that would help you in future even get other opportunities, job opportunities, and socializing with the other people from outside the region.
Okay.
So we believe that when we hold that, and we have been holding such sports, then we shall bring the community on board.
To get involved.
Yes, and they learn from us, and we also learn from them.
Nice.
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy, we are now towards the tail end of the conversation. We're actually at the tail end of the conversation. Just wanted to look at the discourse which is happening on this 15th, and it's around 3 key areas. Demolishing educational walls. I think we've tried to touch as much as possible. Pia highlight kuna stairs mahali hapa zinafaa ziundiwe ramp hapo kando, which is very important feedback. So building bridges to economic prosperity, you know, those kinds of interactions, socialization and breaking barriers. I want us to do the third one, which is the other discourse, forging policy pathways. You know, the role of policy in creating systemic change. I know that individually we might not do a lot, but we do have a government, we do have organizations which are taking care of this and creating frameworks that are identifying the gaps of inclusivity and how we do that. And I just want to know, you know, what from your end, what more you think can be done in terms of policy, research, and you know, matters of where the government is involved and regulation. But I wanted to say to mention something to you, which is a sad report that, you know, I'm sure you'll not like to hear. If you've heard of it, I'm sure you're not happy about it. Here, the Kenya Revenue Authority has called out some employers for illegally denying their workers with disabilities monthly tax reliefs as provided in the law. Which means even some of these organizations are deliberately, you know, going against some of the provisions which are there already in the law. In what more ways can we, in what other ways, and how more can we emphasize policy and framework within organizations and in the general public to screen such cases?
Yeah, I think first of all, policy very, very important, because it is the policy that will define how you operate. And most times you'll be denied something by somebody will say, our policy does not allow that. You will hear that a lot. It means policy has been put on a certain pedestal. In Kenya, we don't have what is called a disability policy. That one brings in problems. We have laws and all those other things. Government, when they're talking about something, they are always say the government policy is this.
Yeah.
The Kenyatta University policy on that is this. And they'll easily brush you aside if something is outside the policy. But akimbia kwa policy haraka sana.
Mbaya sana.
Policy yetu haituruhusu. When the policy supports it, now they look for other things to frustrate you. But when the policy is clearly not supporting it, haraka. Yako ita sekunde moja. Hiyo yako has been dispensed with. What we do as Riziki Source, there are organizations that have come forward to mean well on matters mainstreaming of disability. They have enlisted our support at times to help them develop a disability mainstreaming policy for them. Some even government institutions, universities. I took part in a session organized with Kenya National Examination Council to help them come up with a disability mainstreaming policy, Kenya National Examination Council. Simply because there is a staff in a senior position, Dr. Ogle, who knew me and proposed my name as one of the persons who would be able to help advance that course. And the policy is in operation as we are talking now. Case you have mentioned, employers not living up to what the law says. I don't know how that one comes to happen, because it should have been the other way around. It should have been KRA frustrating this.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. KRA frustrating employers.
Yeah, KRA frustrating this employee because you are exempted up to 150,000 income tax, but there are certain steps you need to take. Si ati wewe ni mlemavu sasa haya uko exempt. No, you must be cleared to start benefiting. You must go through a vetting process. You must be certified by doctors and things like that. It's when now KRA will give you the certificate. Once you have the certificate, the employer should have no say. Sababu ushuru si yake. Wale ndio washaku exempt. They should have no say whatsoever. But you see, there are those pia wako na tuivu kidogo kidogo. Anaona, wewe ulipi kitu aje. You know, that tax is a lot. It is a lot. Look at your pay slips and you will see that it is a lot. Especially when now you consider that you are not receiving commensurate government services after kuchukua hiyo pesa yako. It is a lot. So the thing is, that person has all the rights to take the employer, to seek legal redress in compelling the employer to act according to what the law says. Yeah, I expected KRA to bring that problem, not an employer to bring it, to somebody who should benefit from it. If Daktari here works for Kenyatta University, she happens to be exempted from that. Her responsibility is to go through these steps and bring the certificate to those who are paying. After that, you have no business saying, no, I'm not paying. Why? You should have no business around that. Yeah. And she would move very swiftly to take legal regress to get justice around that. Yeah. Anybody who's going through that should be proactive and take steps to ensure that justice is restored in that. So about policy, I think even we have been approached lately with through the office of Dr. Mbugua. We'd like a closer collaboration with Kenyatta University, and he has interest in matters even enriching the policy framework within the institution. Working together to realize that, of course, it is something that will have to be endorsed by the leadership of the university, the Senate, and even the Vice Chancellor will have to approve that. We have a sample MOU, a template of the MOU that we are supposed to key in to enrich this discussion. We'd like to have a partnership. By the way, I failed to mention, we even sponsored some students here. Students with disabilities. As
Riziki?
Yeah, through our influence.
Okay.
Yeah, there is an organization that works with us. And there was a case where a student reached out to us. Unajua saa zingine wakiona wewe you are working in the space, they believe you can solve all the problems, which may not necessarily be the truth. So this particular one was in need of fees. Okay. And he was almost dropping out. He was doing medical science laboratory, something like that, from somebody from Muko, Mandera. So he came to our office, believing that we can pay fee. Coincidentally, we also had guests in the office on a different mission. So it is us now who decided to convince these guests, because we knew they had some scholarship in another place. No, we also have these cases. Immediately, they told us to, actually they sent money on M-Pesa.
Wow.
Hivyo tu kimchezo. And the guy is here. Ukipata ni oria hivi. Limping hivi. Doing medical something. That is our participant in our project scholarship. And recently, they have also called on me to furnish them with 6 other names of needy cases, which I've already done. Yeah, so these are kind of things, stuff we are trying to handle here.
That's very nice.
Yeah, so the way forward around policy is that each institution cannot, no institution will mainstream disability without a policy framework. That one has to come first.
for us to mainstream, we need to have a policy
You
framework.
need to have a policy. And those who are struggling with having a disability mainstreaming policy, they feel free to reach out to Riziki Source. Not just us alone, there are many people who can do that.
Yeah.
Even Dr. here, I believe, having been in that field for that period of time, will have something to say around matters policy. Yeah, you reach out to people you feel are more qualified and have information around those areas to come and help you to put up things. But it is not just for purpose of having the policy, living true to the
policy.
provisions of the policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you very much for that comprehensive coverage, hapo mwisho. And now, as we wrap up, I just have one more question. There's a lot we could speak about, but mostly we want to go beyond conversation and to take action. I think this is where I want our viewers to also know how they can get involved in promoting this kind of inclusion in the spaces that they are in. Just a call to action to all of them. Maybe if I can begin with Daktari here, in promoting disability inclusion in sports, maybe some concrete steps that you see we can take and your hopes for the future, generally a long-term stretch in disability inclusion in society and sports as a whole. What do you think, what do you envision, and maybe a call to action on other institutions of higher learning who might maybe pick a leaf from what Kenyatta University is doing?
Oh, thank you for that. After the discussion that we have had, and especially on the issue policy, it has taken me back to our department, now my teaching department, and I have seen that there is need for us to do research in the area of university sports, having a policy for university sports. And I see an opportunity for us to do research and then come up with a policy guiding the universities, not just Kenyatta University, universities on the way of improving inclusion of students with the disability among our universities.
Okay.
So I think that would be very good, because that will ensure that we have a document that guides us on how we should have more students who have disabilities get involved in sports, and then even move them further higher up from Kenya to the East African region, where we have a body that runs sports, which is called Federation of East African University Sports, and move it further to FASU, another body, which is Africa Sports University Federation. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that way I'm seeing an opportunity for us to work and to bring change in the university sports, not just in KU, but in Kenya, East Africa, Africa, and if possible, even FISU, the International Federation for University Sports.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much there. Mr. Kennedy, as we move forward, your long-term hopes for the future, and because it's Disability Awareness Day on Friday, just a call to action for deliberate awareness to the society.
Yeah, I think there are things we can't change. Persons with disabilities will continue to be amongst us. They'll continue to require the services as other people. Let's take advantage of the Awareness Day to highlight success, milestones, challenges, and think about improvements in areas we find ourselves having fallen short. And also think about patching up on areas that we were doing well, but kind of we are kind of backsliding a bit, because sometimes you can walk 2 steps in front and make another 3 na akili iko tu kwa zile mbili, kumbe hizo gains zilishakuwa reversed kabisa. Yeah, it is time we need to think about that. When you are doing something for a person with disability, know that you're also doing it for yourself, because you don't know when you may turn out to be the person with disability. Yeah, yesterday I was in a meeting where the director of the National Council of Persons with Disability, Haruna San, who is on a wheelchair, was they were launching the strategic plan. The principal secretary in the Ministry of Labor, Social, that ministry, was there. A former DO was a DO with Haruna San back in the early 90s. Haruna San was a tall man walking majestically. With this principal secretary was also a DO then, bubbling with life. Things have now changed. Hassan is on a wheelchair. The DO is still now principal secretary, very tall. He's the one who gave that example. And he used the example to indicate that you don't know what the future is. You see? Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
Tables turn.
Yeah, we are here. What you'd like me to do to you when these tables turn, why can't we just do it to others now before they turn? Yeah, we don't have a situation where you join the club and people say, wewe ulikuwa unafanya hivi na hivi. Wewe, si unaona sasa?
Yes, unaona. Sasa ona.
Yeah, we want a situation where we are embraced. People take you through the learning ropes. No, there, now do this. See, wale wanasema, yes. You see, things like that, you see? Yeah.
Takes me back to the staircase example you gave. I could be ignoring it. Alafu ile siku mimi nitahitaji ndakuwa like, we mbona hakuna param tutumie? Yeah. Now finally I realize what is happening around me.
I don't know it is in which ministry. There is another case. You know, they civil servants sometimes wanakuanga na kiburi ingine kwa maofisi zao sana. Also, something happened. No, Kenya School of TVETs, I think. Yeah, there is a lecturer there who had a severe accident. People used to talk about putting ramps, I don't know what. Yeah, alikuwa in a position ya ku-approve. You see? They see, no, this is not an emergency, not urgent, you know, things like that. Now he suffered the accident.
Now suddenly he needs
go to that school now. There are ramps all over.
Kila mahali. Even places where it's not needed.
They are waiting for that to strike. But that is not the way to handle this.
It's good to wait, yeah?
Yeah, it's not good to wait. Yeah, but there are those, if you go, for example, to NITA, these institutions that were built long time ago, they did not factor in the inclusion. Those days, these were not issues of discussion. You find that it's a real struggle. Kitaka hata mtu fulani ako juu kabisa, kuna lift, kuna nini. There are some of those cases, it will take a lot to correct them, because you also think of the budgetary implication of doing that. Others would mean bringing down a whole you see. So there are those that will understand, taking into account the journey people have traveled
so far.
So you will not just make noise over everything. There are those. This is a case in point. Maybe few times you get to interact with persons with disabilities, but we cannot just talk about this. There are also others we look at. People have also tried to work
do
on
something.
This. You look at things ultimately.
Ngala muwe na haki umpe.
Kabisa.
Si ati umpe haki alafu muwe.
Kabisa.
Kweli. Thank you very much for that conversation. I think we'll wrap it up at that point. And for anyone else who would want to participate, to be involved, to ask questions, to get awareness, Kenyatta University on Friday, this 15th March, will be marking Disability Awareness Day. So be there, be square, and get to learn on how we can inspire inclusion within our high institutions of learning. The theme here for the 14th Kenyatta University Disability Awareness Day is empowering people with disabilities through inclusive higher education for economic success. I like that even in the theme, it's not people living with disabilities. It's empowering people with disabilities through inclusive higher education for economic success. We've had a look at how that is being done in sports within the higher education sector. We've had a look at the bridging of that gap between school and post-school for employment purposes with Riziki Source. So if you missed any bits of that conversation, it will be there on YouTube, KUTV Kenya. Later on, you can catch up and get to follow up on any concerns you have. The Mufasa anasema good morning Okenye, watching from Kahawa Wendani. Empowering conversation. Thank you very much. Mugeni Nelly, morning Biashara Tuesday. Persons with disabilities should be treated equally and well represented. Asante Mugeni Nelly. Gin Hub 254, great conversation. Is it right to assume that person with disability always needs help? That's a good question. I think we can wrap with that question. They're asking, is it right to assume that person with disability always needs help?
No, it is not right to assume so. That's why when we are taking people through what is called etiquettes of disability, one of them is that ask before you help somebody.
All right.
Yeah, by the way, there are persons with disability who are doing better than non-disabled person.
You're trying to help them. And
don't just... Even if I get into a lift, sometimes the lift, kuna hizi lift ziko well organized. You can tell, no, you punch. Just allow me to punch on my own. Yeah. But if I tell you to help me, if you want to help me, you need to ask me. Do I help you? Do you need some help from me? Yeah. So it is not right to assume that I need help. Even me at my level. Find me walking in the streets of Nairobi. Mtu anakuja anataka kukupatia shilingi 50. Hujaitisha, you see?
Wow.
Yeah, there are people who believe that these people... So that question is very, very valid. And it is from maybe experience, because it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Never assume.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. There you have it. Thank you very much. That's Kennedy Okongo, Director of Programs at Riziki Source. And also accompanying him has been Dr. Florence Gitau, Director Sports and Games at Kenyatta University. We're looking at inclusive sports and inclusive employment. I hope you learned something. I'm taking this chance to go for a break because I have another conversation that's coming up. We'll be looking at all of that on social platforms at KUTV Kenya. Don't go too far.